When one often marries a Filipina, the couple are elated and very much in love. No doubt this is a very exciting time in the couple's life, full of emotion and anticipation for a new life together. For some foreign men, they may marry a Filipina and then move to live with her in the Philippines. But for many, they'll organise the appropriate visas and then bring his new wife to live with him in his country. Whilst the Filipina is very happy and excited for this, many couples fail to fully appreciate the gravity of the move for her. She'll need to face many challenges in her new country, and for some, these challenges may prove far too much, and watching your new wife struggle can be absolutely heartbreaking. In this video, I'll go through some likely adjustments your Filipina will face when she comes to live with you in your country. My hope in bringing you this video is that you'll have a more full appreciation for what she'll be giving up and the struggles she may very well face. After all, you and your new wife will need to be fully aware and prepared for what may be a rather difficult transition for some months ahead. And I'll also give you some very important tips on how you can help her with these very big adjustments. If you enjoy this channel, be sure to subscribe and press the bell icon for future videos. Straight up, I'll tell you that when she arrives to be with you in your country, it won't always be easy. And in fact, for many, it can push the relationship to breaking point very early on. Sure, for the first few weeks, you guys will be very excited and love will be in the air, but soon the reality will set in for your wife. Just take a moment and put yourself in your wife's shoes. At first, to her, it will seem like a great vacation or adventure. But very soon, she'll realise that she's far away from her family and friends that have been her rock in life ever since she can remember. She's now in a new country with only you as the person she really knows and can rely on. And she really has no idea on how things work in your country. Sure, for some, she may have even come for a holiday at some point, but this is no holiday. It's her new life, and the reality and loneliness is starting to set in. And her loneliness will become even more so for those guys who are not retired and need to go back to work. She'll have many hours each day to fill in herself in a country where she has no friends or social activities to keep her busy. This will give her so much time to think, and the more time she has to think, the more reality hits her. Obviously here, a good way to help is for her to do some sort of work. But in countries like Australia, she won't be able to work until she's been there for at least 12 months. But if you're in a country where she can work straight away, then I believe having her start work as soon as possible will help her a lot. But know that she'll still be missing home. For some Filipinas in a new country, the first 3 to 6 months can lead them into being very anxious, and some may even fall into depression. You may see her become emotional quite often, and for some, the sweet woman you married may have disappeared and turned into an emotional monster. But you need to remember that she's not only trying to adjust to being far away from her family for the first time, she's trying to get used to life and customs of a new country. And she may also be trying to adjust to spending hours each day on her own if you're at work. For those of you who don't work, know that she'll be craving for other friendships, as many Filipinas are very social and enjoy the company of other Filipinas. Another big adjustment for her is around food. Now don't take this lightly, guys. Most likely her diet in the Philippines all of her life has primarily consisted of rice, fish and chicken. Now all of a sudden, her diet in your country has changed rather dramatically. Sure, she'll still be able to get rice, fish and chicken, but she'll need to get used to foods of her new country, and for some, it's common that they may have some painful stomach issues that come with the change in diet. As if these issues for her are not enough to deal with, she'll most likely face some sort of discrimination, especially if there's a large age gap between the two of you. Now, people may not always come out and say all those stereotypical comments around gold diggers, etc., but the stares, looks and whispers will certainly be there, and she will notice. Now just stop and think for one moment. A young woman in a foreign country who knows no one, she already feels very down and missing home, and now it feels to her like the whole country is staring at her. Would this be not enough to really test a person or even have them questioning if they've made the right move? All of you guys would have been to the Philippines, so you'd certainly know the vast differences between the Philippines and your country in many different ways. So you can start to get your head around how big of an adjustment she'll be facing on many fronts. And no, for some Filipinas, they may also have to contend with much guilt. This is brought on by her thoughts of her new and much more comfortable life. All the while, her parents, siblings, and those she really cares about are still living in substandard housing, possibly sleeping on a thin mattress on the floor, and maybe only just getting by for food. For some, that can be very hard to deal with, and of course, it's why many Filipinas like to send money home to help their family. This allows them to know that she is improving her family's life in some way, and that can be a big comfort for many Filipinas. Another rather big challenge for her to deal with may come later on in the relationship once she looks at getting paid work. That is, for those that can get through the initial adjustments we've already spoken about. And yes, we'll have a chat later in the video about ways you can help her to adjust so it doesn't have to affect her as much or your relationship. Now, with her working in your country once she's allowed, know that she'll most likely have to start working in a job far different to what she was used to in the Philippines. For example, my wife worked in security in the Philippines for over 6 years. She then came to Australia where she found her qualifications and experience that she gained in the Philippines meant nothing. Simply, Australia doesn't recognise many qualifications from the Philippines. As such, she needed to go from working in security to working as a housekeeper in a motel. But to her credit, this was something she never complained about, and she was happy to be getting reasonable money. But at times, I did see the disappointment at what she'd lost, and I saw how keen she is not only to work hard, but also study hard to create a new and more fulfilling career. Make no mistake, this is a really big adjustment that she must come to terms with mentally. Otherwise, it can eat her up inside. All these things mentioned must be discussed with her prior to coming to your country, as she needs to know the possibilities of what may lie ahead. And for you, as a caring husband, there may be many things you can do to help her in the best possible way for her to make those adjustments. Because you can be very sure they won't just go away by themselves, and you need to be prepared to be very supportive, patient, and understanding with her. The things you can do to help her around missing her family and feeling lonely in a new country are: make sure she understands she can use the computer or cell phone to do video calls whenever she likes with her family and friends back home. Look for other Filipinas in your community who she may be able to befriend, as that will help her to feel a connection to home and will lessen her loneliness. Also, a friendly Filipina can also help to introduce her around to others and create a little support network and to show her the ropes, so to speak. But a word of warning here. Some Filipinas may like to cause drama and gossip about others, which can quickly lead to problems. So try very hard to find Filipinas who steer away from the drama and gossip. If you notice your wife going into any sort of depression or change of behaviour, take her to your local doctor for a checkup and for you to explain your concerns. Note here that it would be best for her to see a female doctor if available, as that will make her feel far more comfortable. Now, as for the food, be sure to have some of her favourite food in the house before she arrives. That will make her feel more comfortable, and also it'll allow her to ease into your food as time goes by. And be sure to allow her to make some changes in the house more to her taste. Things like redecorating, moving furniture around, or putting some new curtains up may just make her feel like this is also her home. And remember to clear space for her in the wardrobe and drawers before she arrives. She won't want to be seeing you clearing your clothes from that space, as that may make her feel like she's pushing you out, even though you know that's not the case. Reinforce to her that it's not just your home, but it's now her home as well, and you guys are a team. The sooner she feels secure with you at home, the sooner she'll adjust to many new changes she may be battling with. For some Filipinas, they may have very little problems adjusting to their new life. But for many, it won't be so smooth, and you and your wife will need to be prepared. Being available to her at all times and for her to know she can call you even when you're at work is very important. At this time, she needs to know that she's not an inconvenience and she is a priority. You really need to be as supportive and understanding as you can be and reassure her when she's struggling. Help her to find employment as soon as possible will allow her not only to have a distraction, but also feel like she's doing something with her life, and also she'll get a buzz from earning decent money, which will contribute to the relationship. Make no mistake, understanding and preparing for what the both of you may face is the key to coming through this difficult time in the best possible way for your wife, you, and the relationship. Of course, we hope that your wife won't struggle when she arrives, but for the many that do struggle, it won't come as a surprise or shock to both of you, and you will be prepared to handle things the right way. If you're after more information and tips around marrying a Filipina, be sure to check out the playlist on screen now. Thanks for watching, stay safe and take care.